This is lesson 7.3, solving equations using multiplication or division. I want you to go ahead and complete the first 4. They are asking you to write the opposite or the inverse operation of those. Alright, let's go down to the rules. Now, if you remember, these are the same rules from the previous lesson. Let's go ahead and refresh our memory. The first rule is to always isolate the variable or to get the variable by itself on one side of the equation. We have to use the opposite or inverse operation to undo or eliminate the terms that are with the variable. Remember, whatever you do to one side of the equation, you have to do to the other side of the equation also. And you always check your answer by substituting the value back into the original equation. So let's go back, or let's go ahead and solve some of the problems. Okay, if you look at this problem, it says x over 4 equals 9. Again, please always rewrite the given problem that that is there, because you don't have enough place to just undo it where it's given. So always rewrite it. Now in this case, x is being divided by 4. So what's the opposite of division? Multiplication. So I'm going to go ahead and multiply with 4. I can just go ahead and do 4 over 1 just because it keeps it sort of straight in your head. Multiplied by 4 on the left side, multiplied by 4 on the right side also. Okay, 4 in the numerator and 4 in the denominator cross out and becomes a 1. So now this became 1x, or just a plain old x. X equals 9 times 4, 36. Let's go back and check. X over 4 equals 9. The answer I got here is 36. So 36 divided by 4 equals 9. Is 36 divided by 4 9? Yes. So the 9 that I got is equal to the 9 that they gave me. So correct. Let's do one more problem. Again, y divided by 3 equals 15. What's happening between the y and the 3? Division. So undo it by multiplying with 3 on both sides. So the 3 in the numerator, 3 in the denominator are equal quantities, become 1. So you have a 1y or y, it's the same thing, equals 15 times 3, 45. Let's go ahead and check our answer. It was y over 3 equals 15. Y in this case I got as 45. 45 over 3 equals 15. And if you divide 45 with 3, 3 goes into 4 once. 3 subtract, bring the 5 down, 1, bring the 5 down, 3 times 5. So yes, 15 equals 15, correct. So my answers are correct. I want you to go ahead and finish the other two problems. Now let's go ahead and do or solve equations using division. A coefficient, and we talked about this in chapter 3 and in 7.1. A coefficient is a number that is multiplied by the variable. So something like 6x. So this is your coefficient. So in order to isolate the variable, we must eliminate or undo the coefficient. Now let's take a look here. 5c, this is what's given. That means that 5 is being multiplied by c. 5 is called the coefficient. This is the number that is stuck in front of the variable. We already know that. Okay. Let's sort of work with an example. So when they say 3x equals 9, and since there is no math symbol between the 3 and the x, we know that means multiplication. So how do you undo a multiplication? We divide. Now, so what number times 3 will give us an answer of 9? That's what we are looking for. So in order to isolate the variable, we have to do the opposite operation, and in this case the opposite operation is division because we are multiplying 3 with the x. Okay, now go ahead and read this a little bit. It's sort of an explanation. Now let's move on to the actual 5 and 6 problems. Alright, let's take a look. The first problem says 5r equals 15. Again, rewrite the original problem that they've given you for more space. Okay, now what's happening between the 5 and the r? It's multiplication. So how do you undo a multiplication? We divide, and I want to write it with the division in the bottom. This keeps it clear for you. Do not put the, don't do this, don't do that. I've seen students do that, and then as you go to higher grades it becomes a mess, especially integers and rational numbers. So don't try to do that. Do it this way. Put it below. Equals 15, we put it divide by 5, so this also will be equal to divided by 5. Now go ahead and do it. 5 and 5 cross out because they are the same. Now we have a 1, 1, so 1r equals 3. So, or you can just say r equals 3, that's the same. Let's go back and check the answer. 5r equals 15. 5 times 3 equals 15. 5 times 3 is at 15. 5 times 3, 15. Yes, 15 equals 15. Checks my answer. Let's move on to the next problem. 8 times d equals 40. Again, multiplication is what's happening here. So undo it. So divide the 8 with the 8. Divide the 40 with the 8. These two cross out. 1 and 1. 8 goes into them. So 1d, or just a plain old d, equals 5. So this is your final answer. Let's go back and see if it works out. 8 times d equals 40. 8 times 5 equals 40. 40, because I'm working this out. 40 equals 40. Yes, it works. Okay, go ahead and finish 7 and 8. Okay, now let's come to the one of the most important pieces of this lesson. What happens if the coefficient is a fraction? All right, let's take a look. If we have 2x over 3, it means that 2x is being 2/3 is being multiplied by x. In order to undo multiplication, we divide. We already know this. We've learned about this before. Now, we also learned that when we divide a fraction, we are multiplying by the reciprocal. Remember, reciprocal of 4/5 is 5/4, so on and so forth. So we have to multiply by the reciprocal. Remember that keep, change, flip? Yeah. Okay. Now, if you take 2/3 and you flip it to 3 over 2, that is the reciprocal. Now, if you multiply by the reciprocal, we always get a coefficient of 1. And remember, our goal is to get one variable to one side of the equation. So it works out for us. Okay. Now, please follow the procedure and do it like I'm showing you. In problem 9, I have 5x over 4 equals 20. Now, we know that 5/4 is being multiplied by x. How do I undo this 5/4? I have to divide it by 5/4. So far with me? Okay. Now, instead of putting it this way, divided by 5/4, what I do is I take the 5/4, and since 5/4 divided by 5/4 is nothing but 5/4 keep, change, flip. See that? So I'm just going to go ahead and say multiplied by 4 over 5. I'm going to multiply by reciprocal. That's what I'm going to do. Multiply by the reciprocal. Okay, and if I multiply on this side by 4/5, let me rewrite it so that it's more clear. Okay, 4/5. I have to multiply the other side also with a 4/5. These two, 4 and the 4, equal quantities, numerator, denominator, done. 5 in the denominator, 5 in the numerator, done. So now we end up with 1x, or x equals 20 times 4 over 5. That is 80 over 5. Simplify it and gives you 16. Or like some of you want to do it, you can do this also, and which is what I would do. I would go ahead and maybe put that invisible 1 there. 5 goes into 20, 5 goes once, 5 goes 4 times, 4 times 4, 16. So you could do it either this way or this way. It doesn't matter how you do it. You're going to end up with an answer of 16. Let's go ahead and plug it in. 5 times x over 4 equals 20. 5 times 16 over 4 equals 20. And now 4 goes once, 4 goes 4 times, 5 times 4 is 20, 20 equals 20. Yes, it checks. Let's do the next problem. I'm going to rewrite it as 3m divided by 2 equals 9. Rewrite this further and write it as 3m over 2 equals 9. Again, remember, multiply with the reciprocal. So 3 over 2m multiplied by, what's the reciprocal of 3 over 2? Good. 2 over 3 equals 9 times 2 over 3. Now go ahead, 2 in the numerator, 2 in the denominator, 3 in the denominator, 3 in the numerator. So this ends up being 1. So we have 1m or m equals, I'm going to do this just in case you need it, but you don't have to. 9 times 2, 18 over 3, which is 6. Or you can do just like you want to cross out, that's also okay. If you want to do this, 3 goes once, 3 goes 3 times 2 is 6. So either way, it's the same answer. So your final answer is 6. Let's go back and check. 3m divided by 2 equals 9. 3 times 6 divided by 2 equals 9. Remember PEMDAS? So 3 times 6, 18 divided by 2 equals 9. 9 equals 9. It checks. All right, go ahead and finish the other two problems, and I'll see you next class.